Hello and welcome to the Digital Classroom. I am Jamie Benedict here with more tools and techniques for the digital curriculum. When we started to go to this one-to-one technology, we have to start looking at the possibilities that adding this technology can bring to our students and our classroom. And there's so many capabilities that we have available to us now that it's really, there's a lot that we can offer our students even when they're not able to be in class with us. So this particular video is going to be somewhat tutorial, but at the same time, I want to talk about some of the ideals behind some of this technology and why we should be using this in our classrooms and how it can benefit our students. So with most of our online lessons, if we're recording, and a lot of teachers have started to do this with what's called the flipped classroom, and they record lessons ahead of time and they post them online. So you're basically getting your basic content out there and you're pushing it out there for your students so that you can have discussion in class. As we have gone online, either with fully remote ideas or we're going to a hybrid model of education where we have some of our students in the classroom with us and some of them at home with us. One of the things that we're going to find is that our students have a lot of other obligations. Now, if we're face-to-face fully, of course we expect our students to be in the classroom with us. They have to be there from 7 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon or whatever your school day happens to run. And we kind of hold them to that expectation. You have to go to school. But with this situation that we're currently in and students being at home, a lot of the obligations have changed. And to be honest, over the years, I've watched even some of the face-to-face obligations change with kids coming to me and saying, hey, look, you know, my parents have to do this, so I have to stay home, or I have to go to work. I'm not able to miss for whatever reason. And so we get some of those things. But now that kids are at home, and we're trying to balance this idea of, can the parents go to work? Who's going to monitor the kids? How are we going to educate these kids at the same time? And I was reading some information from teachers as they post on different social media platforms that I'm on. And they're talking about in the spring, how they were teaching classes at 8 in the morning, at 11 in the morning, and then again at 5 or 6 o'clock at night, trying to get all of their students, because the schedules were just so weird for their kids. So they were doing everything possible to try to share that knowledge with their kids. They really wanted them to learn. And that's a great approach. And it's a lot of work for the teacher, but it's a great thought. I want to make sure these kids learn. I want to make sure that I get my information to these kids because that's what's most important. And they could have easily said, hey, if you can't make it when I'm online, then that's it. You're out of luck. So, I applaud them for going the extra effort. Of course, if you didn't do that, and I'll tell you right now, I didn't do that. I didn't have 5 and 6 o'clock at night classes for students. I did record lessons. I did have different times of the day that they could meet with me, but I didn't take up my entire day with that. So if you didn't do that, I completely understand. There are so many demands, and we have our own obligations with family and household and things that we have to do as well. So how do we balance all of this? How do we balance taking some of our life back and still feeling responsible to our students and still being able to share that content with them and get that knowledge in their hands? So the question becomes, what do we do with our lessons when we record them, or if we're recording them? And should we be recording them? All right. I do think that you probably should be recording your lessons at least once a day with your students. And I want to do a tutorial here real quick about how you can use that and what you can do with it and where to find it and how you can incorporate that into your program. But all of the programs allow you to do this, whether it's Zoom or WebEx, or I think Google Classroom allows it. I know Big Blue Button allows it. And of course, Microsoft Teams allows it, which is what I use at the school where I teach. So I'm going to open up my Microsoft Teams here. So if I'm running a meeting and I've got my practice team up. This is the one where I go to just try out different things and see what happens. So I'm in my general meeting and I start a meeting, whether it's scheduled or whether it's just one that I just happen to open. And I'm going to just leave this as the meeting in general. And I'm going to go ahead and click join now. So here's my meeting. I've got my participants, and actually one of the things that I've noticed here, and this is just a side note, is I've been working in Teams all week, and now when I came into Teams to do this recording, my framework looks different. This is not what I had been used to seeing in Teams, so it's a little bit different. I like it. I like the layout because it still gives me everything that I want, but at the same time, it's not what I was used to. So I'm going to go in here and I am going to, let's go ahead. I'm going to throw a background on here and just turn my camera on real quick so that we have a recording going. There we go. So here I am in my class, and I'm going to click on these three dots and click start recording. So now my course is recording. You can see there's a timer running and the little red dot comes on. That lets me know that it's been recording. And it tells everybody in the meeting, this session is being recorded, and that's usually just good practice. I always like to do that. If I have a guest speaker coming in to my virtual class, I do the same thing. I always let them know, hey, are you okay with me recording this? And I want to make sure that they're comfortable with that. So I've recorded my lesson and I'm going through, and this is a great lesson, right? I've got a PowerPoint going. I've shared my screen. I am hitting all the key points. I've got great participation going back and forth with students. I'm getting great questions from the kids. And now I'm at the point where I've got all this extra knowledge that's gone on. So here is my class, and I am going to stop the recording. So it says that we're stopping the recording. I'm going to dismiss that, and then I'm going to end the meeting. So here is my general tab. So whatever my class happens to be, then this is where that meeting is being recorded here. And it says right now that it's being saved to Microsoft Stream. Zoom does have a cloud-based storage. I don't know if it's only with the paid version or not. It's been a while since I've been into that program. But they do have a cloud-based storage. I was always recording to my hard drive because of the setup that I had. And then if you do that, you've got to take those files, upload them to YouTube probably, and then share the files that way. I think WebEx also has cloud-based storage, but again, I was saving to my hard drive. I did have a couple of issues when I was with Zoom and with WebEx where the files got corrupted. So I did this great lesson. I thought everything was perfect. And then when I go back at the end of the day to try to convert everything and make everything work, and I got in there and I was like, wait a second, I don't recognize this. And I went online and I searched and it said, well, yeah, once it gets to that point, it's a corrupt file. And that was hard for me because I had such a good lesson and I wanted to post that for our students so that they would get that knowledge. I don't know what Google Classroom does. And I'm not exactly sure where Big Blue Button saves. I know it saves probably to a cloud, but I just don't know exactly how to access that. So here this is saving. The longer your video, the longer it takes for it to encode and upload to Stream. For those of you that have been doing digital for a while, you guys might be familiar with Stream. Way back several years ago, Microsoft through PowerPoint ran an option called Office Mix. I actually still keep that on my older computer. I just don't update it so that I keep that. But Office Mix allowed you to record using video and audio. And I loved it. And then you could take that video and you would upload it to an Office Mix website where you could ask quiz questions and you could check analytics on the video and things like that. And then they just shut that down. And I'm not sure why they chose to shut down that service. But what they did was they transitioned over to Microsoft Stream. With Microsoft Stream, when I did my research on this, the website says that they will store your recorded sessions forever or until you delete them. So you do have access to these even beyond the class this year. So that way, if you really like the lesson, you could always post that as a lesson for next year, and you can save all of this content. So a lot of positives that go along with that. And again, Zoom and WebEx have those kinds of capabilities as well also. But let's finish this up. I'm going to take a couple minutes, let this stream post, and then I'll come right back to you. So I have waited now for my stream to post. And when it posts, you actually get this little window here. It shows you how long your video is. It shows you your call. And you can actually figure out what you're going to do with this. And I'm going to open this in Microsoft Stream. So you can see the website is opening. Now, I said that Stream is going to record these forever. This is all linked to my school account. So actually what I do is I can actually just walk away and I can keep teaching another class or do whatever. I'm also going to get an email with this. I don't know what the cloud storage capabilities are with Zoom or WebEx or any of the other programs. One of the things, though, that I like with Stream, besides the fact that it's stored forever, and if I teach a really good lesson, I can always go back to it, is that it does give me a transcript of my audio. And I don't know how accurate it is. I did read through one of them one time. It wasn't the most perfect transcript, but I can always go in and edit that transcript as well. So here's my file in Stream, and I can share this file. And of course, I can send an email to students with this and get the information across that way. But I prefer the embed option. And I've done videos on how to embed your video into Canvas or whatever else. So here's my embed code. This is basically just HTML. So I'm going to copy that embed code, and then I'm going to close this. So I have my video recorded here, and then I'm going to jump over to Canvas real quick just to show you this end of it. And I can post this as a quiz. If I wanted to come in here and do this as a quiz, I could go through, and maybe for the kids that were absent and they weren't able to get in class and I want to make sure that they're still watching my content, I could throw a couple of quiz questions on here, and then they kind of have to watch so that they can get the quiz questions in. And it just might be a way of just measuring whether or not they've gone through the content. Are they understanding what's going on? And it might help them to generate questions and say, hey, wait a second, I saw this in your video, but I didn't quite understand it. Can you just give me an update? I don't think that teachers should have to teach lessons twice, and try to cover for those kids that don't come to class. But at the same time, I know that there's a balance that has to be struck when kids have to help take care of family members at home, when you have limited technology at home, when you have limited Wi-Fi at home, and things like that. And of course, we have a number of homeless students who are trying to figure out, okay, when can I get to this Wi-Fi access, and when can I get access to these lessons? So I think somewhere in there we need to find what's best for our students. So we could throw this in as a quiz. I could throw it in as an assignment as well. I'm going to do this as an announcement just for simplicity. So I copied that embed code, and here's my announcement. I'm going to add this, and I'm going to give this a title, Lesson from August 16. And right down here is the HTML editor, or the embed code. So I'm going to click on this. It gives me basically the same box, but this one changes my code to the video. So when I click on that embed or HTML editor, I enter my HTML code, click on that editor again, and there is my lesson. The kids can click play, and they can watch my video. And of course, all I have to do now is save this, and the students, when they log into Canvas next time, will actually see the video lesson right there for them so that they can actually go back through and watch it. I know that this is one of those topics that just has so many layers to it. And it's one of those that every teacher can decide for themselves how they want to approach their class. How do they want the students to get that information? Do you call another kid? Do you, try to just search it up on your own? Do you get it out of the reading? These are all important questions that teachers have to answer for themselves and how they're going to deal with this. But I think because of the amount of technology, we need to try to take advantage of this as best we can and use it to our full advantage. Of course, you're going to get kids that will play the system and they will try to skip class because, hey, look, I can watch it at my own time. I can do this on my own pace. And, I guess that's just things that we have to deal with. So just throwing this option out there for you. I think it's one that just has to be considered by teachers as we go through these unique times, and certainly as we go forward, even beyond all of this. I do want to thank you for joining me in the digital classroom today, and I will be back with more tools and techniques for the digital curriculum. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel at The Digital Classroom, and also sign up for my Facebook page. I do post there pretty much every day, at least during the school week. I'm posting there every day. I also will take your comments and use that to help generate more ideas and more things to help you with your digital curriculum. My name's Jamie Benedict for The Digital Classroom, and until next time, class is dismissed.